Hello everybody, and welcome to the update series, episode 3. As most of you know, it's someone very important in the YouTube and a lot of other communities has died recently. Monty of Rooster Teeth. And I dealt with it pretty fine, I was shocked and surprised and everything, and I was pretty much okay. Like, I went to school totally fine, but then I saw what it did to some of my friends, and it just affected me, because, like, I didn't really grieve, because that's not the kind of person I am, but I have an incredibly adaptive personality. I kind of leech off other people. A bit sociopathic, but, I like to call it empathy. And, it's just been hard to, work or play. It hasn't been that fucking bad, I'm not grieving, I'm not mourning, I'm not sobbing like some of my friends were, but, it's creepy. It's a creepy feeling. And in the background, I'm going to be fooling around with this beacon pyramid I made. Takes me a while to realize that you have to fuel it with diamonds, gold, or iron, or emerald. Kind of forgot that you could make it out of emerald blocks. That probably would have given it the secondary power or whatever. I still don't understand how those things work. I wanted to talk about... Originally, I had planned to use this episode for talking about my life, and it's actually a cool thing because I just recently made a video showing that I got accepted into my college I wanted to go into. Actually, the only one I applied for. It wasn't a hard college to get into, like, it was, just another SUNY school and everything. But it's the exact program I wanted. SUNY Plattsburgh, which is going to be great. It's as far upstate as you can get in New York, and very close to Montreal. So I'm going to get a license, I'm going to get a passport, going to get a bank account, and all that other stuff sorted out before I graduate. Fucking skin. Burping. So, I'm going into college for a program called TV and Video Communications. And that program involves what I'm going to do there. I want to video edit is what I want to learn. I want to learn advanced video editing things, get experience, and get some kind of degree where I can either, hopefully both, have the ability to actually freelance as a video editor for YouTubers for money, and also to get a job either at a broadcasting station, which would be kind of cool, or basically anything, The second semester just started for my senior year. Sorry, I can't stop thinking about some of the fan art I saw on Tumblr when I got back on today. Like, I saw some Rest in Peace Monty stuff and everything yesterday, but it was today that the fan art started rolling out, and if you aren't on a place where you see, like, really influential fan art a lot, it's really something, because, some people think of fan art and they think of, like, the creatures with, like, crudely drawn, pictures of people's faces and, like, happy stuff or, like, memes or whatever. But... I got the idea to find a stronghold, and this is how I decided to do it. If you don't know how these work, if you mix an ender eye with some blaze powder, you get these that show you where the stronghold are. There's only one stronghold in each map, so these will lead you to it. Usually you just get 1 to 5, and you just keep throwing them. They drop down, and you can collect them and throw them again. But you usually throw one, walk in that direction for a few hundred blocks, then throw it again. they almost always end up in the sea, far underground. So, as you know, with anyone who dies, there'll be fan art of them. But Monty was an animator and creator of a very, very popular, not insanely popular, but very popular series for fandom sites. Ruby was very influential in terms of the first season was kind of shoddily animated. Second season got better with the animation. A lot of people complain that the show isn't that good or whatever, but I think it's great. I think it's a perfectly good show and all of that. There's nothing to complain about except some of the animating in the first season, but every first season is going to be shoddy. I mean, if you have fucking people who watch anime complaining, and talking about how like, oh, it's not a real anime, or like, oh, it sucks, like, yeah, it's not real anime. It's called an anime-inspired animation or whatever. But like, almost every anime starts off looking shitty unless it's one of the new age ones. I don't get new age anime. Watch some of them in our anime club, and it's just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, if I'm gonna watch an anime, and I've only seen a few, like, I'm gonna watch like Yu Yu Hakusho or some crazy shit. This stuff's awesome. There it is. It's cool to see him hover in place like that. It's like, I found it. So, in one of my controversial videos about Nuzlocks, and my dislike of them, I covered this concept where when a character in a popular Nuzlocke comic or run dies, people will make fan art. And that character will become one of two things. Either the person in the game world, the role-playing person playing as the trainer, will do one of two things. They'll either immortalize them in some kind of concept of revenge and martyrdom, where it's like, we'll do this for those who have fallen, and they have the fucking things where it's like, look up in the sky and you see him there, it's like, this is for you, and all that stupid shit, and then you go off and fucking commit a bunch of revenge stories and murder. Oh, I saw it. I got so excited. Oh god, the end of the episode's coming up. Shit, I sorry, I just had so much dead space because I was thinking about Monty. I'll try to wrap up what I was talking about. The other option, other than martyrdom, which I really don't like revenge stories and martyrdom, the other story was that it could just go to the fans. Like, the character in the Pokemon that dies or whatever, or a character that dies in any story, if they're not held in the medium which they started in, the fans will kind of just envelop them and immortalize them in their own way. Immortalize them in the idea that they will make fan art of them and preserve them as the way that hundreds of people see them. It's that kind of thing. And I'm going to keep recording and just try to slow down the end part here because I need some more time with this. So you might have complained if the video seems like it's moving too slow, but it's because I, ran over time. What happens is, if the fans, make a bunch of fan art and continue to make fan art or make fan comics or something of a character that's died, they'll kind of live on in that sense. They'll live on in the public, with the fans, by the fans, and in everyone's hearts and all of that stuff, which is a much more agreeable thing than being turned into this martyr where it's just, you don't remember who they were, you don't remember what they did, you just remember one thing, and it's like, they were great, and now they're gone, and I'm angry, and I'm gonna take revenge. With the living in the fandom stuff, with the fan art and everything, they get preserved as much more often. Sometimes it'll just be like the whole angel reference thing, and it'll be like them hugging someone, crying, or like fading away, or some shit like that. But oftentimes, like, especially with Nuzlocke characters, if a character is truly beloved, especially fictional characters, they don't tend to do it with characters from real life. But with fictional characters, they'll have them be themselves and do comics and stuff and just keep doing things. because they're still alive to them and all of that. And with a real life person, you're less likely to get that, but it's still possible. So mainly, like, if you're new to the channel, I have an extreme amount of philosophic stuff that I like to talk about a lot. Where the philosophy comes in here is that I relate characters and human people to the kind of same area. And that there are a lot of situations where you can't tell a difference between someone that's a character that's fictional and a person that's real. You know, for example, in a chat room, you're talking with someone, you kick it off and you think the person's really cool and awesome, and you try to make friends with them. That person could A, be a living person on the other end, B, be a person who's a character created by the person who's actually typing to you. Could be a completely fictional character that they just made for laughs and they're trolling you. Could be a character that they're testing out how they communicate and everything, trying to get a feel for them in a roleplay sense. Could be a multiple personality disorder kind of thing, or schizophrenic thing, where it's to them a living, breathing person that shares with them, you know? Or it could be a completely automated program, you know? Whether or not it's a person depends on your mental image of them, you know? If you believe that the person you're talking to is real with no evidence, then you'll make a mental image of the person based on what they do, what they've said, their personality, how they're going to respond to stuff. And the mental image is the part of them that's alive. If it turns out that was just an automated program like Cleverbot, you're still going to have that mental image in your head, that character. And where the philosophy kicks in again is these mental images in your head are characters, and every single person you know them through that image, through that character you've created of them. And in that sense, everyone you've ever known and loved is a character. They're fictional. They're created from what you've seen, not from the actual truth. There's no way to see the actual truth because you see the world through your own perception. That's the kind of philosophy I like to think of. Every single person you know of them as a character. So why are you so against any respect towards fictional characters when you could easily treat fictional characters just like real people, with respect and with, you know, empathy and all of that? There's a reason why people cry when characters that they love die. It's because your body isn't able to tell whether a mental image is real or fictional. They just know what a person is, and they know that if a person is sad, you feel a little sad. That's usually what happens if you're empathetic, not apathetic. So how this gets back to Monty is, depending on how the fandom takes their fan art, and there's some amazing fan art. Like, it's usually with Monty and the girls from RWBY, you know, the main characters. And it's just like, no one, maybe there are a few dozen or 100 people in the RWBY fandom that drew Monty with the characters as if they were his daughters or his friends or whatever. But that is almost every single one of them now, you know? Not everyone kind of thought of him that way as being like their parents or whatever, but in everyone's fandom, if in everyone's fan art, it's just like either the character's grieving over him like a lost friend or lost relative, or it's them together doing something cute and shit. Like, that's what I wanted to get at here. The idea that popped in my head is, sure, you may not believe me when I say people and characters are the same, but there's one time when I'm right, and that's when we die. When we die and when a character dies, the same stuff happens, whether you like it or not. If no one knows who the fuck your character is, and you write that they die, nobody gives a crap. If some random person dies in the obituaries, you're like, yep, a person's dead. I understand that they are dead, but I'm not going to ruin my day for some random person. You know, we're prejudiced like that. And if it's someone that you know, you've formed a mental image of them, you've empathized with them through their struggles, through their adventures, be them in some different plane of existence or in ours, whatever you want to call it, you still feel sad. And you can still immortalize them through, you know, fan art and stories and all of those things. So Monty kind of goes to show that Yeah. But that's, my philosophical stuff, I almost went to college for philosophy and then I realized it's kind of fucking useless. So, I was going to talk about Avid Media Composer and stuff, but I've already run it 15 minutes. Yeah. I'm going to miss that guy.